Hello YouTube, After the Credit Movie Reviews here. Hope everyone had a good, happy, safe New Year's, and I hope 2025 is an even better year for movies. 2024 was great in my opinion, but anyways, I'm gonna be making a list right now of my top 5 movies of the year. None of them are gonna be repeated genre, so basically I set up 5 different genres I chose. I chose action film, comedy film, drama film, horror film, and animated film, because I watched a good amount of each of them. I'm going to start off with my animated film. I didn't watch too many animated movies this year, but one of the ones that I was a big fan of was Lord of the Rings, War of Rohirrim. I was a big fan of it. I really like that they didn't just throw in a bunch of cameos just for fan service. They didn't throw in Gandalf in the film. They didn't throw in Legolas and a bunch of other characters that were in the trilogy just to appease fans. They did do a few cameo name drops. There was one cameo at the end of the film. I won't say who, just for spoilers, but that was one of the things I liked. It was a very original film. They did take a character that they mentioned before in, I think it was the trilogy. I'm not too sure. I never read the books, but the main character of the film has been mentioned previously. Anyways, other things I really liked about it was the animation. I thought it was great. Combat scenes were very good, and I really liked the character Helm Hammerhand in it. He's the king of the main character's town, village, whatever you want to call it. So I thought he was really good. And he's a badass. I'll say that. Comparing him to any of the other kings in the trilogies, I thought he was a very badass character. But so that was my main reason for really liking that film. And so for my action film, my favorite action film was my favorite movie of the year as well. It was Furiosa, directed by George Miller, starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. So I'm a big Mad Max fan, so it's a bit biased that was my favorite movie, but I really enjoyed it, and I had a good time watching it. The action scenes, in my opinion, it lived up to what Mad Max Fury Road was. And just for people who haven't seen it, Furiosa is a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and it shows the character Furiosa and shows how she grew up and how she ended up being in Mad Max Fury Road. Anyways, interesting things about the movie is they used a few different characters. Even the main character of the movie wasn't even in it. Mad Max, he wasn't in it. So a lot of people criticized it because of that, but I didn't mind it. I really liked the Furiosa character. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy did a great job playing her. She is one of my favorite actresses, but I don't think she was the star of that movie. I think Chris Hemsworth really took the show. It really surprised me because I thought, Chris Hemsworth, I thought he was just going to play another Thor character, long blonde hair and just a big buff man. But no, he was a very good character, and I don't know, he really showed his acting skills in that movie. Other than just acting though, the soundtrack to that movie, in my opinion, was phenomenal. It's by the same guy who made the Fury Road soundtrack, Junkie XL, and I don't know, I'm a big fan of it. I listen to it sometimes in the car ride to work. I don't know, I really like it. But other things I like about that movie is how they took the character Furiosa and they showed her entire backstory. They didn't just show part of it and try to milk it out for another movie. They showed the entire thing, from when she was a child to where it started in Fury Road. So I thought that was really cool. And the cars in that movie are amazing. I'm a big car guy, so I was a big fan of them. For my favorite drama film, it was a tough choice. It was between The Bike Riders, which is a very good movie, or The Order. I ended up choosing The Order only because I thought it was very interesting that it was a true story. It was based on a true story, and I looked up the true story. It was very written close to it. So I thought that was pretty good, because you know, a lot of times you see that title, you know, based on a true story, and it's just they completely take a bunch of things and they just throw it in that don't even make sense or not even true. So I enjoyed that it was very closely related to the story. Jude Law is the main character in it, and so is Nicholas Hoult, who's also in the Mad Max movie. I was a big fan of it because, again, I think the acting in it was phenomenal. Jude Law was really, really good in it, and I don't know, it just really kept me at the edge of my seat. It's almost like a manhunt movie about the FBI investigating some terrorism attacks that were happening in America. I think it was in the 80s. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But I was a big fan of it. Then for my favorite comedy film, I did not watch too many comedy movies this year, so I didn't have too many to pick from. But my favorite comedy film was A Real Pain, starring Jesse Eisenberg, and I don't remember the name of the other guy. Anyways, about two cousins who travel to Poland to visit, you know, the town where their grandmother grew up in. And I thought it was interesting, one, because my girlfriend's Polish, so I thought it was pretty cool that I get to see a little bit of what Poland's like in that aspect. And again, I'm a big fan of Jesse Eisenberg. I'm a big fan of most of the actors that were in my favorite movies this year. But I liked it because it was like a dark, it's like a dark, dry humor, and I'm a big fan of that. Most of Jesse Eisenberg's movies are like that, and like I said, I like it. There were some parts that were kind of like a little bit sad, but it's not like a tearjerker movie. Kind of reminded me of Funny People a little bit with Adam Sandler. You know, it could be a little bit sad at times, but they took a lot of humor and they really put it in there. So I was a big fan of that. For my favorite horror film, so it's definitely not a popular movie. I'm sure a lot of people didn't even hear about it, but Oddity was my favorite horror movie, and I was a big fan of it because it seemed like a very original take on a horror film. Didn't have a ton of jump scares like some horror movies do, and I will say they had a like a wooden doll in the movie, and it was creepy as shit. I will say that. Like if I had one of those, I would be terrified every single day. And you know, I'm gonna say it, but karma's a bitch. Just after watching that movie, because I don't know, I'm not gonna spoil it, but some crazy stuff happens in that movie, and most of it is karma. But apparently, I think one cool thing I liked about it was I read up that the wooden doll that they used in that movie was made over Zoom somehow. They like created it over Zoom, like, you know, the video platform. I think it was during COVID they created it, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And it's a very, very small cast and crew. There was not too many actors in it, and no famous actors, but it took a horror movie and it made it very terrifying without having to put in jump scares or gory things. It was very, just, I don't know, creepy, I must say. It's an Irish film about a blind woman, and I don't really want to spoil it. But yeah, those are my top 5 movies of the year. And yeah, I hope everyone has I'm going to be making another video on my top 5 least favorite movies of the year. I was going to add it to this one, but then I think the video would be way too long. So yeah, I'm going to be making a second video on it, possibly tomorrow. So we'll see. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I hope everyone enjoys my list. I hope someone takes some input from it or ends up watching one of the movies off of it. I was a big fan of all of them, and like I said, I hope 2025 is an even better movie for years. So all right, hope everyone has a good day and a good night, and hope you guys like and comment on the video on your thoughts on the choices I made.